film the Campbell execution, to videotape it so that that could also be used as part of his appeal, and that request was denied. In fact, no one videotaped the execution, including anyone here at State Pen here in Walla Walla. But Charles Campbell, very notorious, certainly when he committed his crimes, and then when he got here to the state penitentiary, his unpopularity continued. He was reportedly a very difficult inmate. He did make threats to others when he was at Monroe before the murders occurred, but when he was serving that assault and that rape sentence, there were all kinds of reports involving rapes of other inmates, threats against other inmates, threats against a very, very violent past that began with him at a very young age. And Campbell's relatives tell me that he was addicted to speed. Let's go to Robert Mack now. Apparently he has an update for us. Robert?
Okay. Go ahead. Do you have anything you want to say? You wanted to ask you a question.
I think you're all aware that the Department of Corrections has pronounced Charles Campbell dead after executing him shortly after midnight on Friday, May 27th. It's been a long and hard battle for many people in this case, long and hard time for the victims, families. They have had to deal with an immense tragedy for many years, and we're very grateful that they can now put this behind them. If a state is going to have a death penalty, as the state of Washington does, it is clear to us that Charles Campbell is the kind of case that the death penalty is meant for. That's all I have to say. I have with me John Jones and Paul Weiser. They have served as counsel in the Campbell case for the last 5 or 6 years and have been working very hard the last several months since the Ninth Circuit issued its ruling in February, and they deserve a lot of the credit for making the litigation process go as smoothly as it went today, in spite of numerous appeals and numerous issues in the court the last several days.
I heard the Attorney General would not have anything to do with the fact that there was contraband in Mr. Campbell's cell. You would not have anything to do with that.
No, we don't have anything to do with that. That's a Department of Corrections matter. I'm just going to go around.
Can you tell us at all how it went tonight, what happened at the execution?
From the information we have through contact with the Department of Corrections and the penitentiary, it went very smoothly and very quickly, as you can see.
Kathleen?
That is Kathleen Mix, the Chief Deputy Attorney General, and it is now final, the Attorney General confirming the execution in Walla Walla. As you know, last minute with a number of legal maneuvers, but in the end, everyone turned him down. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco was his last hope. A 3-member judge panel there turned him down late this evening, and that was it. Time simply ran out. That's the latest from Olympia. I'm Robert Mack reporting live.
All right, Robert, thank you. We're going back by. Linda, by our clock, the execution must have taken place at least 35 minutes ago. Have you seen any sign of the witnesses coming back into the room yet? Well, Gene, let's take another look at the camera that's located inside that media briefing room, and we'll see if there's been any developments in the last few minutes. There you can see that it remains yet, but we are anticipating the witnesses to be coming in at any minute. Once again, there are 15, 10 of them are reporters. The prosecutor from Snohomish County, Campbell's defense attorney are also among them, and 3 family members of Campbell's victims. If you look at that group, Jim Lobsons, who represented Campbell's recent appeals and tried here in the very end to save him, is probably the only one who has a very strong opinion against the death penalty. I had lengthy discussions with him, and he told me that as heinous as Campbell's crimes were, Lobson simply does not believe in capital punishment. He does not believe in taking another life, even for something as bad as what Charles Campbell did. But some of the reporters I learned about the death penalty, that may be a function of their job. Some of them, however, have witnessed executions and still say that they feel very mixed feelings about the death penalty. So once again, at 12:19, we did receive word that Charles Campbell was dead. All indications are that the execution went smoothly, but we don't know anything more than...
We'll check back with you in just a few minutes, and I know that you'll continue to monitor the witness room for us.
Alan Schaffler again in Clearview tonight has another person who wants to offer a reaction to the death of Charles Campbell.
Yes, indeed. We have the man who just gave the folks in the bar last call just a couple of minutes ago. Things starting to quiet down here. Richard Mack, chief cook here at the Clearview Cafe. An interesting occasion, to say the least, and get a little bit rowdy. How were people here tonight? Did you expect any trouble? Did you get any trouble?
We weren't sure about having any trouble, but we did not have any trouble whatsoever. It was pretty mellow here. The bar sometimes gets loud because it is a small bar. We didn't have any problems. There were some cheerings going on about celebrations, but we are not celebrating Campbell's death. We're celebrating the fact that the family's victims can rest in peace. There is no celebration of his death at this cafe at all.
And that is Richard Mack, chief cook here at the Clearview Cafe, and that is the prevailing opinion here. There were celebrations, there were cheers and shouts that went up at 12:01, and with the announcement that came about 17 or 18 minutes later that, in fact, the punishment had been carried out. But time and time again, the people we've talked to say this is not about revenge, it is about relief. Barry, Gene?
All right, Alan, thank you. We're going to check with Robert Mack one more time to summarize the statement we heard from the Attorney General's office. Robert? Well, you can see Robert Mack getting ready right there to summarize the statement. If Linda Byron, Robert, are you ready to sum up what you heard from the Attorney General's office?
Well, basically, as you know, the Department of Corrections in Walla Walla is directly in contact with the people here at the Attorney General's office in Olympia, and as you heard just moments ago, the General did confirm that the execution went smoothly and it went on time pretty much. After years of appeals, about 12 years of appeals, Charles Campbell went up to the last minute, but just about everyone turned him down today. The Snohomish County Court in Everett, where he was first convicted, rejected him. The State Supreme Court rejected him for the 5th time. The U.S. District Court in Seattle turned him down. The U.S. Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. turned him down. The governor denied clemency. And in the end, his last hope was the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco. And tonight, a 3-member panel of judges in San Francisco denied his case, and therefore he simply could not get enough judges to reconsider his case. He ran out of time, and that is what happened tonight. That is the latest from Olympia, and we are going to continue following the situation, but at this point it appears that time simply ran out for Charles Campbell.
All right, Robert Mack reporting from the Attorney General's office. The execution, we're told, took place at a little bit after 12:01. It's now 12:40, and we're waiting the witnesses filing back on the room. In the meantime, Jim, you wanted to make some observations about this.
Well, I think this day will be remembered for another reason, which is this extraordinary dissent written by Justice Blackmun, who is leading the U.S. Supreme Court. This is the first time in 30 years that we have had a person who has unwillingly been hanged in this state. Remember that Dodd cooperated in his own execution. Justice Blackmun wrote a scathing criticism of this state's use of hanging. He said hanging is clearly indecent, that was his word. It does not meet, and I thought this was extraordinary language, the evolving standards of decency that mark the progress of an evolving society. He seemed to be saying that this state and Montana are going backwards. Many states have rejected hanging as being inhumane and barbaric. Only Washington and Montana and the Republic of South Africa, said Justice Blackmun, still hang for murder. He recites at length the gruesome way that hanging kills. I think we're going to finally get the people coming out.
We're told that the witnesses are now coming into the witness room, so let's go back to Walla Walla, and here is King 5's Linda Byron.
Well, that's right, Barry. The witnesses are right now entering the media briefing room.